All my life, I've been interested in helping others, especially with children. As I got older and started thinking about what kind of job I wanted to pursue, I came across occupational therapy. My aunt is an occupational therapist, and with that in mind, I've been personally working with her. At her office, she has a big concentration in children with autism, and this is why that topic is so important to me. What is autism? Autism is a complex developmental disability that usually starts in the first 2 years of age. It is a result of a neurological disorder that affects the brain in the development of social interaction, peer interaction, and communication. It affects nonverbally and verbally. Autism is one of the most common disorders now. It is an estimated 1 in 100 births a year, as stated from the Centers for Disease Control Prevention. Roughly translated, this means that as many as 1.5 million Americans have some sort of form of autism. Therapy is very important when it comes to autism. There's many different types of techniques and therapists that are very beneficial to children. This could be things such as occupational therapists, speech pathologists, and school-based occupational therapists. First, occupational therapist is one of the most beneficial therapists to children. Their goal is to help improve the ability of living. They do things such as running groups of children to help with peer interaction, letting them play, and working on communication. Speech pathologists are also very beneficial. They deal with communication. Communication is essential to us, for it helps us to express emotions, maintain behaviors, and sustain friendship. Speech pathologists, when working with children with autism, tend to integrate play and fun things into the words, such as saying, roll the ball, and then roll it. Lastly, school-based occupational therapists are also very beneficial. They do anything from general schooling to helping adapt the classroom. For example, from Ruth Huebner's book about autism, having children with autism sit on balance balls instead of chairs could be very beneficial. This program name is based on the philosophy that students sitting on therapy balls are less bored and are better able to focus. Sensory processing is one of the most commonly used techniques for therapy with children with autism. Sensory processing is used to define and describe a disorder in a common language in the medical world. There's 7 groups to this: tactile, vestibular, proprioception, visual, auditory, gustatory, and olfactory. Sensory processing involves how one's body receives, interprets, organizes, and sends messages to the rest of our body, as quoted from the book Asperger's Syndrome and Sensory Issues. Children with autism tend to leave out sensory issues or they don't work properly. Following are some descriptions of these. First, tactile is the feelings all over the body. It includes touch, temperature, and pain. Children with autism can be hypersensitive, which is oversensitive, or hyposensitive, which is undersensitive to touch. This could include things as not wanting to wear clothes or not like being touched and hugged. Next, vestibular is how you can deal with gravity. It's everything from moving to direction to speed. A major issue with children with autism is that they don't want to participate in games. This is where therapists try to integrate games and sports into their work. Proprioception is all about the muscles in the joints. It's about pushing, pulling, flexing, and stretching. A huge part of this is balance. Children with autism who have issues with proprioception can have problems calling themselves down to focus and balance. This is where we use weighted vests in therapy, as stated in the book, How Does Your Engine Run? Visual is eyes and the details one can pick out. It's things from movement, texture, and color. Compared with other sensory issues, the visual is usually a relative strength for children with autism. They may just lack in the writing and reading area, and therapists help with that. Auditory is about hearing and paying attention. It includes sounds, tones, etc. The main issue with children with autism and hearing is that sounds bother them, any little sound. This is where we let them wear headphones around and listen to certain music that calms them down. Gustatory is all about the taste. It's distinguishing the difference between bitter, sour, and sweet. The main issue with this is that they are very picky, and they tend to have bad nutrition, for they do not eat correctly. Lastly is olfactory. This is about the nose and the smells. From the research of Miles, Cook, and Miller, over 75% of children with autism were considered to have oral sensitivity. When specifically asked why their children avoided certain smells that are a typical part of the environment, they answered affirmatively. So it appears that smell is a big area for many children with autism. For this, we tend to find a smell that calms them down and find a way for them to carry it around, such as putting a peppermint in their pocket and letting them get it out and smell it when they need it. In conclusion, there's much diversity within therapeutic interventions for children with autism. There's countless variables that you must take into consideration when treating them, such as the severity level, special needs, and the concerns of the parents and child. And this is something that I've definitely seen working in the office. Every child with autism is different in their own way.